So here's the assessment of this oil leak on the cam cover. Ignition coils are out of the way, wiring's out of the way. I found 4 bolts, 1, 2, 3, and 4, that were completely stripped out, and I guess they weren't sealed around the bolt holes, and that's why the oil is leaking. So I'm going to remove these, blow out the holes, see how many threads are left, and see if we can salvage this situation. Oh, the more I dig into this thing, the more depressed I get. We have oil leaks coming from these cam seals, where the cam sensors are, both sides, leaking right down, making a huge mess. And then the exhaust manifold studs are very loose, so I'm just going to tighten those by hand. That would explain our exhaust leak. Basically, everything they touched is messed up. So I'm hoping the head bolts are tight. I really think we're going to have to pull this cam cover off and do it the right way. You know, check the torques of all the head bolts, reseal everything. I'm sure the seals here on the timing gears are also leaking. Oh my gosh. So we have to pull the phasers off the cams and tear everything apart, put new seals on everything, reseal it. I think that's the only way to guarantee the repair here. Alright, so for the 4 stripped out bolts, I did some measurements, and I think we're gonna drill these out one size bigger. So right now they're 7 by 1.0 by 35 millimeters. That's the original bolt. And what I want to install is a 8 by 1.25. It's a more common thread, and it's just slightly longer, so it'll use more of the threads. Now these 2 holes go all the way through. It's kind of strange, but that's the way it is. And then these are dead, you know, basically don't go all the way through into the head. So I'm going to drill them all out. 17/64 drill bit, and tap them with the M8 by 1.25. Hopefully everything will tighten down, and then, you know, once the threads are fixed, we'll actually, you know, wait for the cam seals to arrive, and then we'll install all the new parts. I'll have to take it all apart again. I just want to fix the threads right now while the cover is still in place. Alright, here we go. Let's first drill these 2 rear ones. Okay, that's all the way in. Looks beautiful. Now this one right here. And this. Perfect. And these 2. All the way through. Doesn't require much at all. Okay. Blow all these out. Alright, now let's do the tapping. A little oil right there, very convenient. Let's see. Yep, it's definitely tight against the cylinder head. Okay, we'll leave that alone. Move on to the next one. Three more to do, so I think this will be a good solution to the problem. All right, let's start up the Volvo. Cleared the trouble codes. First, let's listen for exhaust leaks. Ooh, no exhaust leaks. Sweet. Fix that problem. Now let's back it out, warm it up a little bit. Let's see if those new bolts are sealing. And then we'll just wait for the cam seals, fix that oil leak. Hopefully this car will be out of here pretty soon. So far it's looking promising. We got to get under boost to create some pressure, you know, in the crankcase. By the way, I installed the OEM VVT control solenoids. Just doing a bidirectional test. So it was setting a code for the exhaust. Look at that, 0 degrees deviation. So, made in China Dorman crap. People are like, oh, why are you so against... I'm not against China, I'm against shitty products. And a lot of them say made in China on them, so I guess that's a stereotype. But OEM solenoids fix this problem. I don't know why they replaced the original VVT solenoids. Why did they do anything? Anything they touched is a disaster, basically. So that's proof right there that the OEM solenoids fixed the camshaft position performance code. That's awesome. Alright, so next step, got the timing belt tensioner loosened up. We got some slack. Took out the 3 gear to VVT actuator bolts and put binder clips on the belt with marks. Everything's lined up with a little notch right here. So now we can safely remove these sprockets and just set them aside. And the belt's going to stay on there. And nothing should move or get disturbed. Okay? So we'll just set these here wherever they're happy. The binder clips should keep the belt where it's not going to jump anywhere. Now let's take off the the VVT solenoids. Okay, put a little paper towel there, catch the oil drips. I'm going to put them right in this little baggie with the screws so nothing gets lost or confused. We'll set those aside. Alright, now we're ready to remove the 40 bolts, including the ones that I replaced. So you can see the new ones, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hopefully this works. Alright, we're using the puller as we did on the S60. So this valve cover was just recently removed, so I don't expect it to be super stuck. Just give it a couple. It's coming up. Boom. Okay, now what about the back side here? So the trick is to install a couple bolts in the front now, and then we'll pull up again, and hopefully the back will pop up as well. The good news is the seals are actually, you can just take them off that end of the camshaft. So there's no need to remove the VVT actuators just to replace the seals. That's great news. So we'll do all new seals, put this thing back together, time it. Should be amazing. So comparing the old seal that was on there and the new one, they actually say DPH Germany T5508. These are identical. Amazing. So I don't know if they've been replaced before or if Felpro just stocks the original seals in their bag, but let's slip this sucker on here. And we'll see how well it hugs the perimeter. Very nice. That is, the spring load is great. So if you can turn the VVT actuator using the seal, it's making really good contact. Amazing. So we'll put that back in the engine. Let's get the intake here. Alright, on the intake cam, take off the old seal. Install the new seal. Again, it should seal perfectly. Yep. Alright, so I got the camshaft seals installed on this side, the sensor side, and they fit very nicely. And they butt up against these little steps, so you can't really mess that up. Pre-lubed, so everything here is clean. And then, camshaft cover, cleaned off all this junk. That's nice and clean. Let's spread some silicone on there, the Permatex Good Right stuff, and seal it up to OEM specifications. Some people are saying you have to use the Volvo Special Sealer and Aerobic Sealer. I don't know why Permatex Right stuff wouldn't work, and I don't know, I trust it, never had it come back with that. So let's spread that out and slap it back together. Alright, let's torque down the valve cover bolt. I didn't show the RTV spreading procedure. We saw that on the S60. Alright, putting the timing belt back on, and you want to make sure that it's in exactly the right position as it came off. When it's loose, it can actually jump a tooth on the crank pulley, but if you have it marked, it shouldn't be a problem to get it back to where it was before. So there's the mark where approximately, you want to make sure the VVT phasers are again in the full advanced position, and that your cams, if you're not using the locking tool, they have to be precisely aligned. So you see the cutouts, they're exactly aligned with the head surface, and on this side, same exact thing. precisely aligned with the head surface. And both, you can kind of spin the VVT until you feel that resistance. That's the maximum full advanced position. That's where the service info tells you to lock in these cams. Put on your sprockets, and the bolt holes should be approximately in the middle of the holes. There are some YouTube videos out there, they say, you know, shift it back a tooth and then fully advance it and lock it in. That might give you the right timing, but that's not OEM service information. So everything has to be centered and should be in good shape. So let me put in the little bolts, make sure they're centered there and there, and we'll tighten up the timing belt and snug up the little bolts. Should be perfect. So for the timing belt tensioning procedure, 6mm Allen in the eccentric tensioner, you want to make sure this little notch is about up top. So if you go over and loosen it up, that'll be the correct spring tension. Then you can tighten the 12mm hold down bolt here. Okay. Now when you press the timing belt, you should see that tensioner move back and forth like that. Alright, so here's the final position of the camshaft. So these are aligned with the micrometer. The bolts are pretty much in the center. Everything's happy, timing belt's tight. This engine should run like a top and not leak a drop. Cross your fingers. Button everything else back up and we'll fire it up. Alrighty, let's get this thing started. Make sure the camshaft variable valve timing is happy. There we go. Okay, going to ECM. No trouble codes. Okay, that's good. Alright, let's go ahead and change that oil out. Driver's information module. We want to do a service reset. Ignition on. Resetting finished. Easy as that. So whenever we start the car next time, that message should not come up. Time for regular service. Alright, keep chipping away at the Volvo, doing some rear suspension repairs. Took the wheel off and you can clearly see the obvious damage from the unprofessional towing company. Yeah, that track bar has been shortened, tweaked and shortened. So now this wheel is out like that. So this towing is through a big company, like a broker, and they hire subcontractors, the carriers, and supposedly there's insurance on it, but the customer, I don't know, the guys didn't even speak English when they brought it over. All they knew was cash or check. I'm like, well, how are they going to pay for this? Cash or check? Let me know. So we're doing the repairs. They're dragging their heels on reimbursements, obviously. We'll see if anything comes of that. But we got an aftermarket Parts Sweden track bar. There's the part number. And it should be identical to the original unit. nice and straight. So I'm going to pop that on. We'll do our toe-in alignment with the strings and then move on to the engine repairs. It's still leaking oil a lot, setting a cam performance code. So this whole project, the bill is getting close to $2 grand, and you know, that includes removing the big cam cover and resealing everything, because I can't just put RTV in the bolt holes and shove them in there. I have to guarantee my work. And the right way to do it is undo all the mistakes. So the customer's paying $2 grand here just for undoing people's mistakes. It is insane. I still don't know what the original problem was with the, you know, the stalling. It's a really sad situation, but I mean, I'm just doing my job. Alright, replace this bent track bar. See the brand new track bar on the right side there. Perform the alignment, and now we are even. So the specification is 4/16 at each wheel. I tweaked the front tie rod ends as well, because you can see they were actually towed in quite a bit, and the outside edge of the tire has some premature wear. So if we're doing an alignment, you might as well do all 4 wheels for the toe-in and save on tire wear in the future. You can see how worn this edge of the tire is, and that one is still fine. Last tire here. Yep, exactly 4/16 of an inch, 1/4 inch. So now the suspension is done, the car is drivable. Last thing I want to do is install a couple covers and the performance stabilizer bar up top. Take this thing on a good test drive. I don't want to see any leaks, and then once we get some miles on it, I'll feel confident returning it to the customer. Well, the Volvo is driving absolutely beautifully. Let's give it a little juice on this on-ramp here. And it's got that turbo pull, no problems. So I guess that's it. Back from the dead, from the butcher shop, back on the road. I still don't know what the original problem was with this car. Poor Volvo. To hell and back. And then the towing company messed it up. I'm like... So, it took about a month. But by the time everything was said and done, and the insurance company claim, and just chipped away at it. But it's back on the road, so owner should be happy. And if might do a follow-up once he takes it back and drives it for a bit. But it's perfect. 278,000 miles. They don't make them like they used to. These are solid cars. Thanks all for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.